Hola. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good Friday. So we're going to have a little chat about astrology and about current events. More so about current events than astrology because that is what's going on right now. So, of course, they're intertwined. So we're going to talk about these things. So currently, we have Uranus and Taurus. I talked about this like 2 years ago before the transit actually started. This has been a very annoying transit. So Uranus is actually in its fall in Taurus. It doesn't like being in Taurus. It's the uncomfortable place for Uranus to be. Taurus is stable. Taurus is sure. Taurus knows what they're eating for dinner and what they're eating for lunch next week. And that's how Taurus energy is. However, Uranus is the total opposite. And Uranus is the unexpected. It's the energy of surprises and doing whatever you want whenever you want to do it, right? And maybe planning something, but even the planning part of it didn't happen on purpose. All of it's really by chance. So this is part of why it's so challenging for Uranus to hang out in Taurus. And Uranus only moves every 6.5, 7 years. So this transit is like, we have until 2026 to get through this energy. Now, Taurus rules things like your throat, your tongue, your mouth. And we have seen instances over the years, since Uranus has gone into Taurus, of people licking ice cream in grocery stores, people doing all kinds of nasty things happening with agriculture because Taurus rules agriculture. It's one of the earth signs. And so, you guys may hear my daughter in the background. She's, living her best life. So, Uranus and Taurus, again, it's not a cool placement. There are some things that happen, such as cryptocurrency, which is very much a Uranus and Taurus type energy. But most of it is just wacky, weird stuff, okay? Because Uranus is a weird energy. So, Uranus also rules groups, right? So, you'll see groups of people doing things that maybe aren't conventional things that they would normally be doing. Because things are just things are topsy-turvy with Uranus and Taurus energy. It's a topsy-turvy time. Now, one of the things that I have learned with astrology and that I do when I do readings for people and readings for myself is I go back and I look at the last time that Uranus was in Taurus. This is a tip that I learned from my astrologer. And with this, you can actually see themes in your chart of things happening again for you to basically try to correct or deal with in this lifetime. And as far as Uranus and Taurus on a global level, the last time Uranus wasn't 2 times ago when Uranus was in Taurus in the 1800s, there were several inventions that came out. Uranus rules inventions and Taurus rules money. So Bitcoin is kind of like an invented form of money. People will also invent ways to make money, right? So you hear about people who are driving Uber now. They're doing DoorDash. Uranus rules the internet. They have online businesses. All of this is Uranus and Taurus energy. And part of the reason why this energy is, or why this transit is so different is because, again, Uranus rules the groups, right? The collective. And if the collective has to find a different way to make money, that does what? That changes how economics are pretty much done, how economics are in that country. So, just before the Great Depression or around the Great Depression-ish time, Uranus was in Taurus around that time. So either Uranus and Taurus transit ended and boom, we were in a depression, or it happened right around that time. It was, I think it ended 1934, if I'm recalling correctly. So that was around the time of the Great Depression. People started to go work in factories, right? People started that. people started their own businesses. Steel mills were big. Working with the earth was big. There were a lot of sharecroppers and things like that. So that's what was going on back in the 30s. So here we are again with this, you know, the Uranus has gone all the way around the zodiac. You know, it has gone to Gemini, and then it has gone to Cancer, and it's gone all the way around, and it's come all the way back to Taurus. Now we just was in Aries for 7 years, right? And we saw all kinds of crazy things happening then too, because Uranus, it isn't uncomfortable in Aries, but Uranus is a wild energy anyway. So when it was in Aries, we saw like all these wildfires going on. Stuff was being set on fire left and right, was it not? For prior to 2020, or prior to 20, I think it was prior to 2020. Things were getting set on fire. It was all kind of crazy things going on. There was a lot of combat going on in the media with civilians and police officers. You know, we kept hearing about things like that happening. There's a lot going on, but now we've stitched over to Taurus. Yes, it is, and I'm gonna show it to you guys once I'm done. Yes, she asked if this eyeshadow came from my palette, and so yes, I'm gonna show it to you guys, show you the colors to you guys when I'm done. Thank you so much. So Uranus and Taurus, back to this energy again. The last time this happened, again, we pretty much were in a depression. We're hearing tales of a housing crash, of a stock market crash. Those rumors have been going on for quite some time. That is Uranus and Taurus energy. I do not doubt that it will happen before 2026. Before this moves on to Gemini, which I think is going to be pretty crazy in itself. But before this planet moves in 2026, I'm sure we will see a stock market crash. Now, I'm going to give you the background on what I think is going on. If you've been watching the news, if you haven't been watching the news, right, stuff has been crazy. Like, stuff was kind of depressing and, like, crappy 2020. In 2021, things have been crazy. Things have been crazy. And so one of the things that has made this be so crazy is we also have, I'm looking at my notes, you guys. We have Jupiter in Aquarius, and then we have Lilith in Gemini. Okay, so Jupiter is a planet of luck and good fortune and expansion. It's in the sign of Aquarius along with Saturn right now. Those are like opposing energies. So them being in the same sign, it's a lot of like push-pull energy with Aquarius. Now, Uranus rules Aquarius. So it's still, groups of people, audiences are still being shifted in some way. Like both of those transits change how society operates just because it's dealing with Aquarius energy. Now, Lilith, which is an asteroid, is in Gemini, which is the sign of communication, which is the sign of friendship and your actual community, like your neighborhood community. Aquarius is like your state, you know, like the citizens in your town. Gemini is more like your neighbor, you know, your landlord, stuff like that. And so, okay, I just got a text. So Jupiter is essentially, at some point, is going to trine Lilith. Now, Lilith is the feminine energy that will not be suppressed. Okay, it will not be suppressed. It will not be made to be like docile. Like it's that feral female energy. And so Lilith being in Gemini, you're gonna hear like this is women speaking out, saying what they have to say about injustices and things that aren't happening the way they should be for women, for society even. And so when it hits Jupiter, when it comes into contact with Jupiter via a trine, you're going to see even more of that. You may even see women protesting because there's like a strong protest energy coming up, like with the Pluto return coming in February, which I did a video on last week. So this can also be information leaking. Okay. Now, right now, again, there's a lot of stuff in the news that, as somebody who doesn't watch the news a lot, it's very alarming. Like, a lot of the stuff is very, very alarming. You're like, what the heck? And then the next day, what the heck? It's always some crazy stuff. Like, as of recently, it's like all the time. And, you know, we have old people talking about we in the last days. Like, it's been a lot of stuff going on. But this is why, like, the planets are turning all the way up right now. And we have Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Mercury, and possibly even Uranus. Or does Uranus go direct? I know we have at least those 4 planets retrograde right now. So things are being revealed. Things are being unleashed. And when the planets go direct, you can expect even more stuff to come out. Some of the things that are coming out right now are coming out on accident. But the things that are going to come out this month, October, when everything goes direct, it's going to be even more intense. So please be aware of that. Now, because YouTube, where I'm going to upload this video to, is censoring people talking about the medical intervention that is going on right now. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to speak directly about that, and I'm not going to share my personal views. Oh, Uranus is still retrograde too? Yeah, it's going to be crazy when it goes direct with everything else. So I'm not going to go into detail about my views or my biases about it. However, I'm going to say a few things that are going to impress upon you some critical thinking. Now, Uranus and Taurus, one of the things I've seen about this transit is that I'm seeing a lot of cult-like behavior. I'm going to call it like I see it. I'm seeing a lot of cult-like behavior. This is basically what I kind of downloaded it yesterday. Uranus groups, right? And Taurus is about beauty, and Taurus is about money. And one of the things about Taurus that a lot of people don't know is also about self-love and self-acceptance. And I think a lot of people with Uranus being in Taurus right now, they are doing things. Some people are doing things in order to be considered normal. Like, they just want to fit in, you know? They just want to fit in. They kind of don't really have a strong opinion, but they just want to fit in. Hey, what is up? Good afternoon. So there are people that are doing things right now, and they're not really using any type of critical thinking skills. They aren't doing any kind of research, none of that. It's about, I don't want to be judged. Now, again, we're having our Pluto return in February. Like, basically, to make a long story short, all of the dirt, all of the lies, all of the deception, all of the manipulation that rests underneath the surface of the United States, that's going to come up in February. And anybody who knows what it's like before, like, some stuff really, like, gets readjusted the way it needs to be, sometimes things get a little shaky. You know, you're like, what is going on? Like, this is crazy. Now this too, you know, it kind of becomes insurmountable. You're like, what? Things just kind of go haywire. I personally feel like that's where we are right now. And so we have two options. We're either going to walk in fear, or we are going to walk in self-assurance. And it has come down to this point right now. Like, this is where we are right now. You're either going to be scared, or you're going to conform and you're going to consider that like a form of your personal safety. Like, I'm going to do this so that nobody has anything to say to me about this, or I'm going to do this because I'm scared. Or you're going to stand firm in yourself. And I'm going to be honest with you, you have to be very, like, if you are unsure of yourself right now, this isn't a good time to be unsure of yourself. Like, you're going to have to dig deep. Now, let me back up. The past, like, 4-5 years, all of your crazy, whimsical, woo-woo friends that have been talking about manifesting, law of attraction, and astrology, and this and that, and meditation, and chanting, and this is what we were preparing for. This is what we were preparing for. This is what Spirit was preparing us for, because a lot of us are going to have to help guide others through this transition. Yes. Yes, Geneva, for real. Because a lot of people are going to be scared. A lot of people are scared right now. And they're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. If I don't do this, I won't be able to go to work. And I won't be able to survive. Blah, 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 blah. That's like a common story that's coming out about a lot of people. A lot of people are sharing. And then there are the other people who are like, well, I, broke apart from the establishment via this way or that way, whether it be starting a business or, which is essentially really the only way to get from up under that. That's Taurus energy all day. Or working with other people in some way, in order to keep money flowing to them. Because there are people that are just not really scared like that right now. Because they already kind of knew, like maybe this was revealed to them during a dream or revealed to them via meditation or whatever. Or maybe when they started their spiritual path 10, 15 years ago, they didn't even know they would be here right now. But there are people who are, not really afraid at this time. And they are also resisting some of the things that are being told to us. So yesterday in my astrology group, we be lit in my astrology group. I had made a comment about how there's a celebrity. And I'm saying this under the guise of Neptune being in Pisces. Like, there's a lot of stuff we're not really seeing. Like, there are people who know what's going on, but they are probably going to seem crazy, which is like Neptune-ish energy, if they were to tell you what's really going on. Because the media keeps like dropping information and there's whistleblowers and things coming out about a lot of different things. Truly, if you choose to ignore the information that we are being given, I truly believe in my heart of hearts, the reason why we have Google, the reason why we have YouTube and all these different things is God, spirit, whatever you want to call the creator being, gave us these tools so that there will be no excuse for you not to know what's going on. So there are people who are there are certain people that I talk to and I'll tell them stuff and they be like, girl, what? I can't believe that's going on. And it's like, well, have you been reading anything? Or have you just been consumed in like reality television and whatnot? Like 3 or 4 years ago when people were talking about, oh, TV is a distraction, I agree with it. But at this time, with the severity of things that are going on now, I'm like, dang, there are people who are really not paying attention because they are sucked into television. They're sucked into they don't even know what's going on. And I see, it has become more like, I get it now. I get what they were saying by making that statement. It's 100% true now, without a doubt. So, again, there's this cult-like behavior, this follower behavior, because they can't stand on their own 2 feet. Now, the people who are sure of themselves and are rooted and are standing, 10 toes down, they will probably all come together because they're more than likely souls, like they're connected in some way, right? And so right now there is a, what's the word that I want to use? There is a word for this, and it's like there's a term for it. It's in the Bible. There's a separation that's happening. I'll say it like that. There's a separation that's happening between who is going to. Hold on one second. I thought she was having a moment. Who is going to? How do I want to say this? Who is going to actually be firm in their faith, and then who is going to allow society to tell them what to do? A lot of people are talking about revelations and the things that they've heard, and I'm not going to discredit it. That is something that people could start reading. I wouldn't take it literally. It's more figurative based on what I know. But we have been forewarned of this like a long time ago. Long time ago. And there have been a lot of teachers who have told us what to do. There are teachers who have told us what to do to even prevent this from happening. We have not listened. As a collective, we have not listened. We've had ample opportunities to get out of being forced to have a particular lifestyle, which is ultimately what's happening right now. So, one of the things that you can do right now, if you are just like, I don't know what she's talking about, she crazy, whatever, is to start meditating. It will bring a lot of clarity. She says the more woo-woo I get, the better my life gets. Aren't you a Scorpio North Node? Like, that's, I mean, you're supposed to be woo-woo. You're supposed to be woo-woo. So your life will continue to get better as you go deeper down the rabbit hole. More information will be leaked. And I'm talking about prior. So I'm only talking about prior to February, because right now we're in the build-up. We're in the build-up of something getting ready to pop off. So if you are following anybody on your spiritual journey, whether that be on social media, it's a friend, it's whatever, if you have a person that is a spiritual leader to you of some kind, because a lot of people who are spiritual leaders are going to be exposed really soon. They have been being exposed over time, but again, before Pluto takes the roof off everything, more and more will start to come out. The message that I got was that real leaders will give you homework. So stop dealing with so-called spiritual leaders who don't give you things to do. I don't care if it's journaling every day. If they're just like, oh, well, I got this cosmic message from, you know, so-and-so, and they don't have any work for you to do, that's some BS. Also, with another download that I got is that it's time to walk in your gifts. So those of us who have spiritual gifts, the time is shifting. We've been waiting on this time where people are going to stop playing about in our faces about stuff. About like how talented we are. Like there are mediums and other people of that are of a spiritual gift that work for the federal government. There's a reason why, because gifted people, I mean, obviously we have gifts that can be used in other ways, but they've been shunned because of religion and things like that. That's going to continue to fall away. Honestly, by the time Neptune leaves Pisces, which I think we have like another 7 or 8 years in that time, because Neptune moves like every 22 years or something. So it's gonna be there for a while. Everything that is Neptunian and Piscean will be, we will stop shunning it. So the medicines that they put people in jail for, that they are now selling on the street or selling at these fancy dispensaries and things like that, and other medicines that you have to go to other countries to take and things like that, people are going to stop playing with that stuff. And I just saw it on Newsweek. They had some psilocybin mushrooms on Newsweek on the front cover. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? It's shifting because a lot of people are realizing that their stuff don't work. This is the thing. So with the internet jacked up a lot of businesses because people got to connect with one another. This is Aquarius energy as well. People got to connect. People got to talk about, oh, so you were taking the antidepressant and I was too, and we both were having these symptoms. That's not in the pamphlet. Maybe we shouldn't take that no more. And then they're running into people that are giving them indigenous medicines that are healing them. That kind of stuff has been happening more and more because people are, the internet has awakened a lot of people because the information that people couldn't get more readily is now obviously it's open. It's open and accessible now. I mean, even 10 years ago, YouTube did not have the kind of information on it that it has now. So again, a lot of stuff that has come out. Also, capitalism has created a fear in people. So that is essentially what is going to be flipped over in February, is the grounds for American capitalism. It's about to be a wrap. So again, the people who are living in fear and are literally risking their lives for the comfort of being accepted by the collective, unfortunately, they are going to regret it because there's going to come, it's kind of like It's kind of like me telling you, coming to you telling you, hey, look, you are going to have to buy, if you want to work here, you want to work at Hooters, okay, well, you're going to have to buy the uniform. You got to pay for every single piece of the uniform. And then the Hooters person is like, well, I mean, I could just buy some bottles of water and sell those myself. And I worked with this person, but I want to wear the cute uniform. Like, I want to wear the cute uniform. I want to frolic with guests, and I want to be accepted, because if I just, buy something and sell it, I have to do it by myself. And then 3 months later, you don't even work at Hooters no more. Like, they fire you or they close down or something. That's essentially what's happening right now, if you catch my drift. And so there are people who are, even though they've been in this profession for 10 plus years, they are walking out of facilities that human beings need. Hospitals. People are walking out. I mean, at alarming rates, because these people don't feel like they're safe in their workplace. And then we have people that are saying that these people are being unreasonable. They're calling them names. They're saying that they're endangering everybody. But the irony, hey sis, the irony is, as Americans, right? Most Americans, we trust our healthcare professionals, right? We trust them with inherent, like, I know I'm one of the few people that, like, I'm very particular about what kind of health professional I go to usually. Probably because I studied medical racism in undergrad. Like, it's just like a thing. I researched what school they went to, and I talk to them, I interview them. But of course, medical racism is a big deal right now. People are talking about it more. It's always been a big deal. Right? And then there's also doctors who, no matter what color they are, based on whatever they've been trained to believe, that's what they regurgitate to their clients. Well, it doesn't take very much critical thinking to ask yourself why the people that we trust to deliver our babies, to do surgeries on us, to fill our IV bags, that they're leaving their jobs. Like, you can tell me all day, you can tell me a million times a day, girl, you're not no scientist. You don't know. You only took like 2 biology courses. You don't know. You're not a doctor. People could tell me that all day long, and they'd be right about that. But how do you justify saying that to someone who completed the education, who's been working in the hospital for 5, 10, 20 years of their life? How do you explain them saying that they have reason to believe that it's not safe for them? Yeah. And then there's been several people who actually have PhDs in biomedicine and biophysiology and bioengineering, lots of other fields that have to do with the production of medication and know about the human body and all kinds of different, because there's like 101 different like fields or whatever that are all like medicine related and science, and they do research. And there are people even that hold those high titles that are in disagreement, just like Mika is saying here. Now, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do or what not to do. I am responsible for myself and my own family, so I'm not going to tell anybody what to do, but I am here to say you should absolutely use critical, like, I don't feel like anybody's using critical thinking. Like, nobody has asked why we haven't seen our vice president since the election. I have not seen her. I don't know if she alive. I don't know if she done went to like Bermuda to hang out with her family. I don't know anything. I don't know. That's odd to me. I think it's odd that the president that we and Uranus rules oddities. That's why there's so much weird stuff going on. I think it's also odd that the president that just got out of office just had a rally. I've never heard of a president having a rally doing another president's term. Who does that, right? Crazy, crazy stuff. There's talks of money being the government missing. It's a lot of really fishy, peculiar things that should, instead of you taking them at face value, you should be like, your wheels should be turning about what is really going on. And I think it was David Banner. He had made a post and he was like, I think it was like something he shared from someone else, but he basically was like, if you don't think something is wrong, if you don't feel it in your soul that something ain't right, you're like, I don't know if it's the water, I don't know if it's the food, but there are a lot of people operating very robotically, which is a very Uranus thing, very Uranian thing, very robotically. And you're like, does she not see that something is amiss? The people who don't see that there's something amiss, you need to watch them. That's all I'm gonna say. Watch them, because you don't want to be around people that are missing critical clues or that aren't. You want to be around people that are paying attention. I'm gonna say it like that. Yeah, it's very, very weird. Yeah, maybe so. And I never did that. Like the whole staying in the house thing, I never did it because I thought it was ridiculous. I truly thought it was ridiculous, and I didn't stay in the house. Oh, Narissa girl, look, they be lying, because the information is definitely, we can all Google it. So that's another thing too. There's a lot of stuff in the media where people are saying things that are not fact, and people are running with them. People are running with it about all kinds of stuff. Like, it's some real weird stuff going on. That's why you gotta pay attention. Like, it seems like you have, this is not about not paying attention. Like, this is about being focused and being on guard. Oh, wow. I know some people like that too. I think it's kind of wild, but yeah. I know some people who are living their lives that way because these people have listened to what the media told. The media told them to stay home and they did it. To me, personally, I think it was how do I want to say this? It definitely showed how obedient some people can be and how easily they can be told what to do. Yeah, it's definitely giving Hunger Games. It's definitely giving Hunger Games. Definitely. And people have to, but at the end of the day, the people do have the power. This is ultimately what this is about. Jupiter and Aquarius. The people have the power. Saturn and Aquarius. The people have the power. So this is about the collective getting on one accord. However, the people who are operating in fear are not going to be able to get on accord because they're not going to be thinking clearly. They're going to be grasping for straws at the last little drops of what was. But our society is changing, period. And that is what it is. Now, another thing I wanted to say. Again, it's a lot of funny stuff in the media. So, I understand that we're in a new day and age. And people of different sexual orientations are carrying children. Okay, I get that. I know that. But let's just pay attention to some of the stuff that's going on. Like, some of the stuff that's going on in the media, I feel like it's being fed to you just to keep you distracted. For instance, there is a popular singer, musician, artist who had a baby last month. Right? It has not been it hasn't even been a full 4 weeks, let alone 6 weeks, or all of that maternal health stuff. It's been about 3 weeks since she gave birth, allegedly. This same person has been all over different red carpets. They have flown to Paris and done all types of extravagant. I think they're dressing extravagantly. I mean, they look great. But I've had 3 kids. I'm sure there's some other mothers watching this video, and even if you can put back on your clothes, after you give birth, there are still things going on internally that would, I don't think they would necessarily prohibit you from getting on a plane and flying to another country, but it's unsafe to say the least. Uterine prolapse is real, meaning that for those of you who don't know, after a woman has a baby, right, they tell you to lay down. They tell you to lay down and sit your butt down somewhere. Okay? They tell you, and they're not saying it to be a jerk or whatever. I mean, you can literally die. Like, you're still in the life-death portal situation of giving birth. But one of the things that can happen because you decide, man, F that, I'm gonna live my best life. And, I feel great. If you get up and start doing things, you're walking, you're jogging, you're going upstairs, you're driving your car, and you just had a baby, or you're basically not sitting down and resting and letting your body heal, you can have something called uterine prolapse, a prolapsed uterus. This means that your uterus, okay, this is your, like, cervix, right? And then between my wrist is like the vaginal canal. Your uterus will come down and start to hang out like it's a whole emergency medical situation if that were to happen. And it happens very commonly when you don't sit down somewhere after you give birth. So I'm like, how could anybody have cleared her to do this? Maybe if she was like 5 weeks, it would have made more sense, because you really do have you heal very swiftly after birth. I personally think a woman should wait at least 3 to 6 months before she does like anything like big, I guess. But 3 weeks, abnormal. And I hope they're not gonna come out with a story saying that this person had a C-section, because that's even more of a reason to sit down somewhere. So I think there's a lot of stuff going on in the media that's just, it's false information, or they're feeding us stories late, or some of these people are not who they say they are. And I don't even mean it as far as gender. I mean, I have my own theory about that, but I mean also like on some Aquarius stuff. I would not be surprised if there were people who had decoys that behaved as them. Oh, since I understand, again, we didn't have the same situation, but I don't know anybody who just has, especially your first birth. You don't have a baby and just be like, ah. Even your second, I mean, it takes time. Like, your hormones are doing stuff with your brain. It's too much. Nah. Yeah. That's pretty much what I'm saying, Nicole. But I didn't want to say that. So, yes, there's a lot of, so stay woke out here. Stay woke. Pay attention. Pay attention to the people who are giving up their level of sovereignty for the sake of being accepted. Because there's a lot of stuff going on that don't make no sense. And I'll say it every day and sometimes on Sunday. Like, I trust my immune system, and I have from the beginning of all of this stuff. So, I'm personally not afraid. But there are people that are walking around in fear. That itself lowers your immune system. So there are people that are doing that, and they think, I could just only imagine being in a state of fear and then taking something, and then I just feel like the fear is going to exacerbate whatever your body, because your body attracts illness when you're afraid. So, yeah, it just doesn't sound good. And also, without me getting too deep, please make sure you research the global laws. The United Nations, the UN, there are global laws that have to be followed. Okay, so don't get into a spiral of fear. It's very easy to do so, and I do believe that there are things that are trying to force that, right? So pay attention. There's places that are trying to force that, but there's nothing to fear, ultimately. Yeah. There's definitely an age range on the fear. I agree. Yeah. Me and my baby, my baby boy, we got sick last April, and we stayed at home for a couple days. We took herbs and we were fine. Mika, I agree with you there too. I have a problem with that as well. If it requires if it requires that, I will not. I won't go. Actually, there was an event last month that I really wanted to go to, and they were saying that we had to basically have somebody put a foreign object in our body to prove that we don't have whatever, and I didn't go because I was like, I don't feel right about it. But again, you have to be secure in here with yourself. Okay? And you have to know yourself. There has to be a level of, I guess I have to use the word sovereignty, self-assuredness that a lot of people don't have. And one of the things that has helped me tremendously is with meditation, because I'm able to I get more clarity when I'm meditating. So let me show you guys my lipstick. Is this I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I'm running out of this color. And just yesterday, I saw my homegirl and she was like, save me a fortune. I'm like, I will make sure I save. So it's this dark brown. It's very pretty. I love it. I'm going to save it for her. But we do have like 3 left. It's getting kind of dicey with that. But the eyeshadow palette, I said I was going to show it to you guys. I used the colors today. As you can see, I kind of stirred up the earth. But it's like really, it's very pretty. I might have to find maybe some, I feel like Halloween, like I'm feeling poison ivy. I feel like the sun, this sparkly color can be used for some like Halloween stuff, but I'm trying to make sure you guys can see the color is good. But yeah, they're very diverse. I feel like this is a really good like Halloween palette. So yeah. Again, you guys, so about the Mercury retrograde, right? So, so I've been talking about Uranus and Taurus, and I've been talking about Jupiter and Aquarius, and with Jupiter and Saturn and Aquarius, and Lilith and Gemini. Now, the Mercury retrograde is just fueling this energy between Aquarius and Gemini, because it's another air sign, right? So they're all hitting each other. And Libra wants there to be balance. Libra wants there to be order. Libra wants things to look right. So with Mercury retrograding in Libra, there are relationships, because Libra rules relationships, being torn down because they're not going to serve us into the next phase. And we're also, it's forcing you to, Mercury retrograde in Libra currently with its an aspect to these other planets, it's forcing us to evaluate the relationship with self. Am I going to do what's going to make my society comfortable, even though it's against my will? Or am I going to do what makes me feel good, which ultimately is what's best for my society and my community and my relationships? That's what it's asking us right now. So we're not going to freak out over people freak out over the retrograde. Don't freak out over the retrograde. But it is going to peel back some layers. And I believe that ends on the 18th of October. Please double check those dates for me on that. So yes, please be aware of the cult-like behavior that is going to be going on between now up until February, until Pluto finally like blows the hat off of everything, to give us some clarity. Venus in Scorpio. So we do have Venus in Scorpio as well, basically governing this retrograde, because Venus is the ruler of Libra. So again, it's these secrets. It's the stuff that we're supposed to be ashamed of. We're supposed to hide and hold back, and shared, even debts. I mean, they're talking about the United States don't have no more money. And that's some Venus and Scorpio stuff right there. But it is about uncovering the lies. Like, y'all, if some type of media stuff comes out over the next couple weeks before the 18th, before Mercury comes back, goes direct, and it's like some, I don't even want to say a Freudian slip, but like some stuff comes out in the media that wasn't supposed to get out, don't be surprised. It was supposed to get out. Because Mercury is, Libra just wants there to be balance. And if Libra can't get that, some stuff is going to come out. And so Venus and Scorpio wants to know the truth. It wants to know the truth. It wants to know who started it. Oh, and how could I forget? I didn't even talk about R. Kelly. Everybody's been talking about R. Kelly. And again, Venus in Scorpio is definitely tied to the R. Kelly thing because his South Node is actually in Scorpio. And so he's been actually convicted. Okay. Your South Node is stuff you were supposed to leave alone. Okay. Stuff you were supposed to leave alone. Stuff you were supposed to evolve from. Okay. His being in Scorpio, the biggest Scorpio keyword that everybody knows is sex, right? So him not healing. Scorpio is a sign of healing, not just freaky stuff, okay? It's about healing and transformation. And so since he did not do that, he didn't do the work, it's Venus coming through there. It's kind of like, look at the life you're not going to be able to have. Getting all in his business. Yeah, Saturn. When Saturn went through Capricorn, it definitely dragged R. Kelly. It dragged him hard. And it's just continued to drag him, which is, a Saturn thing. So again, this cult-like behavior. This cult-like behavior of people that are arguing with women, Lilith and Gemini, about the validity of whether he's a predator or not. And it's just crazy because it's very clear that he's a predator. Myself and my partner, we've sat up here laughing at videos that YouTubers and other influencers have posted about people from like the 90s, people from like 20, 30 years ago, talking about how his songs were sketchy. Even back then, they were like, his music was real sketchy. He was singing about "Seems Like You're Ready" and da-da-da-da-da. Like the things that he was saying were very alarming. Okay, and let's just keep it real. Our parents sat there and played it and danced to it, and they didn't see nothing wrong with it. They didn't see anything wrong with it. And even when he married Aaliyah, now me, I was a kid, so I really didn't know. I heard about it being like a scandal. But as a grown, if I were an adult at that time, the fact that our elders, I'm going to just call it like it is, kept playing them, I'm not surprised there are so many people with stories of, I told my aunt, I told my dad, I told my preacher, but nobody believed me. This is the energy of that. Because people are still gaslighting the people who brought him up on this stuff to this day. They're still like, oh, he really didn't do nothing. Oh, they exaggerated it. If you harmed a child, if they make you pay all your traffic tickets 5 times before you go to jail just to torture you longer, who cares? Who cares how hard it is for you if you've been molesting children? Like, who cares? Like, his life is like hard and there's proof that he did this. I don't even understand. I mean, he was singing about it. That's how bold and brazen he is. But I feel like the energy of R. Kelly and all of the stuff that has been going on, and the feminist movement, the womanist movement, all things that have been going on. Oh yeah, I remember the sex tape. Because it was Aaliyah first. That was like the first little story. And then the next thing that I heard about him that was like a big deal was the sex tape and the pee. And still, excuse me? And we still kept playing his music. Yeah, he made it, called himself the Piper of R&B. He played on it. But I'm going to, yes, which I think helps a lot of other people who are, quote unquote, in power that do things like this, like the clergy and things like that. Athletes, all kinds of people who do these types of things. Even people who are the heads of the family. Oh, thanks, cuz. They get away with a lot of stuff. That's a very 10th house thing of, well, I'm famous. Well, I'm a politician. Well, I'm a clergy member. Oh, well, I'm, you know, the oldest elder in this family. That's a very 10th house thing for it to be like, well, no one's going to believe you because I'm in a place of power. That's exactly what's going on with the country right now. It's like, well, y'all ain't going to do nothing about not being able to do this or not being able to do that, or these particular liberties being taken away from you, or this group of people being treated like crap for the past 400 years in this country. What are y'all going to do about it? That was his energy the whole time. When people were accusing him, I'll make another song about how I'm a flirt. I'll make another, you know, just keep throwing it in your face, which is really how America has done with capitalism and keeping people of color out of certain things. But that Pluto return is on its way, and you can only get away with that for so long. And that's kind of what happened to him. It was that 10th, it's some 10th house, because the 10th house, again, it opposes the 4th. So it kind of tries to, like, it downplays the stay-at-home moms. It downplays birth. It downplays all these feminine things that are needed for this society. The United States is a Cancer. That's 4th house energy. So patriarchy, 10th house stuff, taking rights away from parents, all that 10th house stuff, that is it's an opposition with Cancer energy. And I have a lot of Cancer energy, so I already know, like, child, I have had some 10th house energy really bump up against, especially during the North Node in Cancer, South Node. Whew. I don't even know how I survived that transit. And I thought it was going to be good for me, but no. It really, really dragged me really bad. It was bad. It's been bad. And I'm still, like, recovering from it bad. But one of the, so R. Kelly, we talked about R. Kelly. Britney Spears. Let's talk about Britney. This is another example of somebody with Cancer energy. She has a Cancer midheaven. And her Cancer energy has been getting attacked. Like, and then it was being hidden too. That's the part. Like, I didn't even know, like, her family was doing her like this. And Cancer rules the family. So for her family to do things to damage her financially, okay, to really that's her money, right? Because it's her gift. Like, she's just her money. So for her family to actually set her up to take away her rights. And then her ex-husband was in on it. Like, he done took her kids and stuff. All of this stuff. And there's no telling why she's on this medication that she was on. But of course, that just gives them, oh, she's crazy. Like, well, she, you know, we don't know what has happened and why her dad and her sister took over her, stuff like that. I haven't heard nothing from Britney's mom either, which I find very interesting. 4th house, the mother. Haven't heard anything from Britney's mom. But there's this 10th house energy. Her dad, he has pretty much, I mean, he was controlling what kind of lawyer she could get, what kind of medicine she could take, including birth control. I mean, controlling every aspect of her life, abusing the feminine energy of her Cancer midheaven, which is her career and her femininity, like, abusing it. But we just got news, right, that all of that's falling away, and all of that's getting shifted, and all of that's changing. And I think that that's the actually the Libra energy actually squaring that Cancer energy, because it's like, we can't keep, you know, retrograde isn't always something bad, y'all. It can take something, it can pull something out or bring something back or reveal something. So one of the blessings for her is that it actually freed her from the legal stronghold, Libra, of her father, 10th house. Because her 10th house, again, is in Cancer, and it's been getting beat up by her dad controlling her legally. Her dad and her family controlling her legally, which is crazy. So things like that, where people have been mistreated, misused, basically set up to fail, is starting to trickle away as well. Because that's really, honestly, that's really the whole thing with that whole 10th house energy. It wants you to buck up against it, and that's what she did. She took them back to court. I'm sure it took a lot out of her to take them back to court with the lawyer they forced her to have. And then somehow, magically, got a judge that would allow her to get her own attorney. Boom. All of the legal stuff gone. And now she can control her life. And so that's what's going to be happening with Cancer. That's what's happening with Cancer energy in general. Keep in mind, again, the United States is a Cancer. So that is what is going on. There's a liberation going on right now. But I'm sure people told her, like, don't do this. You know, your daddy got control of everything, girl. Don't do this. Don't press that button. But she did it anyway. Yeah. In 10th house, the public saved her. Yeah. So that's real dope. That's some 10th house midheaven stuff that she stepped into her midheaven again. Yeah, I'm so ready for the Pluto return. Monique, I can't wait for you to talk more about the Pluto return, because I'm ready for that to. I'm ready. I'm ready for that. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not gonna say that she can't heal Jerica from the things that happened to her. But I mean, she might really be doped up right now. You know, because I don't know what they've been forcing her to take all this time. But she will have to, she will have to rehabilitate herself, basically. But crab energy can do that. And then she's a Sag, so she's very strong. She's very strong. But they were trying to take her out. I feel like the Britney stuff came out this year. I'm not sure. But I know a lot of stuff started getting, honestly, when was it? Was it the... I feel like the stuff started, yeah. I feel like during the Capricorn, Cancer, North Node, a lot of the stuff started coming out. There was like there was like so much healing from the divine feminine energy that a lot of women were stepping into. And then it's like, here comes the patriarchy trying to gaslight it. Like, no. So it's trying to hold it back. But it can't really do that anymore. There's no planets in Capricorn right now to oppose it the way it was doing anymore. So that's done. And I really feel like this Pluto energy is going to just just take, it's going to be like, I feel like the energy I'm feeling is Scooby-Doo at the end when they take the mask off of the bad guy. And they're like, oh my God, it was actually Mr. So-and-so. That is the kind of revealing and the deep change of the underbelly of this country that needs to happen, that will happen come February when we get this Pluto return. Is going to be off the chain. And I don't think anybody should be, a lot of people are afraid. I don't think we should be afraid. That's not the right energy to have going into this. Because those who are afraid, they will be easily manipulated, just like they have currently been over the past year. Because if anybody can tell you to stay inside your house when there's fresh air and sun and there are open stores, it might be a little bit, you might be a little bit, what's the word I want to use? Not sus. Easily influenced. I don't want to say weak, but come on now. And I've been, I just know the work I've been doing on myself and the things I've been doing. Gullible. That's the word. Gullible. That is it. Thank you. Gullible. Extremely gullible. extremely gullible. It's kind of like, you know what? There was this movie too. What was the movie about the girls in the little jail? Do you hear me?
No, what you say?
What was the place with the girls that were in the jail? Dang. It's on Netflix. It was about some girls that were in a jail. They were all teenage girls.
Level 16.
Level 16. I'm not even going to tell y'all what it's all about. But there were all these girls were in this jail. And they told them it was a school. Really jail. And these girls had like they had basically daily things they had to do, like these rituals of like, you got to take your vitamin at this time, and then you go lay down at this time, and you got to wear this, and you got to watch this video at this time. Like they had like a schedule of like freaking mental programming they were doing, right? And all of the girls were just kind of going along with it because they were like, well, you know, because I want to be a good girl, you know, I want to be a good girl, I don't want to get in trouble, which is part of the programming that this educational system does to our kids, but I'm not gonna go on that today. And so eventually one of the girls is like, look, I found out what they're doing. I found out why we're here. This is not a school. This is really a jail. Like, we gotta get out of here. And of course, at first people were like, girl, like, she only told one person because she already knew if she told everybody, they would report her to this abusive warden, essentially, right? So she could only tell one person, and eventually I think they escaped or whatever. But that's kind of what's going on right now. Like, it's not funny, but it's kind of like there are people who you can't save them if you tried, but you just have to again, get with your spirit team, your ancestors, God, whatever you do that. However you receive guidance, do that. Because the what to do, I feel like is pretty clear at this moment. But it's not for anybody to tell you what to do. Like, this, it has to come from here. And that's what I'm essentially trying to say. This has to come from in here. You can't just because somebody tell you a lollipop tastes good, I mean it tastes good. You might not like it. You might not like that flavor. Okay, so yes, that's essentially the message that I got. I downloaded. I'm sure I'll be doing more videos. I feel like it's just gonna keep turning up until Pluto comes and like smacks everybody that needs to be smacked. So until that happens, we'll just have to do some more astro forecasts, like some updates about what's going on in the planetary world. You guys make sure to check out some of the people that are on my live here. Jericho Roy, she does astrology and she has like chats on Clubhouse. And then Monique Ruffin is also another astrologer who talks a lot about esoteric roots of astrology. But she be snatching my edges when I read her posts, so I'll enjoy her commentary. So I hope that this helped you guys. I am going to put this on YouTube. So yes, be mindful. Watch the transits, and I'm sure it's just gonna get more and more juicy. Like, just get your popcorn. Like, this is the final chapter of this country, so get your popcorn. And if you had ancestors here, this is a great time to do work. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a great time to do some work around that, if you know what I mean. So peace. Y'all have a good Friday. And thanks for checking me out today. Bye.